Hello friends, family, world. Luke here with another video. For those of you unfamiliar with our channel, my husband Tyler and I make weekly videos documenting our experiences since moving from North America to the UK. In this particular series, I'm documenting our experiences of traveling around Europe from July to September, including beautiful places such as Switzerland, Austria, Denmark, the Faroe Islands, and more. So be sure to subscribe and follow along for our adventures. If you haven't been following along so far, click here for our Eurotrip 2019 playlist and go to episode 1 to start from the beginning. Alright, so where we last left off, we were in Clermont in the Montreux area of Switzerland, and we were set to go on our Golden Pass scenic train ride that starts in Montreux. The Golden Pass is a scenic train journey that's broken up into 3 separate segments. It starts from Montreux to Zweisimmen, Zweisimmen to Interlaken, and then Interlaken to Luzern. On this particular leg of the trip, we did the first 2 segments of it. We didn't do Interlaken to Luzern quite yet. We really felt that the star of the show was the second segment between Zweisimmen and Interlaken. The Golden Pass is nice as well because it's a panoramic train, so lots of window space to really take everything in. Do be aware though that it's probably best to make a reservation, and that in order to make a reservation, it does cost a small fee, even if you're on a rail pass like Interrail or Eurail. If you're really looking to not pay any extra reservation fees, you can do this route through slower local trains rather than the touristy panoramic train, so that is an option for a cheaper route. Either way, you're going to go through some absolutely amazing scenery, particularly the beautiful turquoise waters of Lake Thun with the mountains in the distance is an experience that cannot be matched. This is quintessential Switzerland. We arrived in Interlaken in the afternoon and dropped our bags off at our accommodations, which was the Balmer's Hostel in Interlaken. This is a lively hostel, so be aware of that. It can get pretty loud some nights, so if that's not your style, this may not be the best place for you to stay. For us, we found Interlaken and really all of Switzerland to be very expensive, and we found the price was right, particularly because we got a 10% discount off with our Eurail pass. So we were mostly just looking at the numbers and determined that this was the best fit for us. We were also really happy with the views that we got from our hostel room, so do keep that in mind when you're looking into accommodations in Interlaken. Another thing that we liked about Balmer's is that they do provide you a card that gives you free public transit within the city limits that we did find very useful for getting around places without having to spend money. After we dropped our bags off, we proceeded to head into town and grab a bit of coffee at a nice cafe with nice views of Harderkulm, which is the main mountain that you look at when you're in Interlaken. We decided to hike up Harderkulm. You can go up there by cable car, but we were trying to save money and we thought it would be a fun experience to hike up it. It's a steep climb, but the views are really worth it. Interlaken means between lakes, and when you get high up enough, you can see why. Because when you look down at the view of the city of Interlaken, you can see that it is nestled between 2 lakes, which are Lake Thun and Lake Brienz. We were even surprised to be treated to some traditional Swiss musicians where they played what's called the Alp horn. Tyler even got to join in. He said it was a bit like playing a trumpet. Little did we know that we would end up encountering these musicians again later on at our hostel. As we left Harderkulm and returned to the hostel, we saw them there later that night as it was July 4th and they were having a bit of an American Independence Day celebration with these local musicians playing music for us. Really bizarre celebrating American Independence Day in Switzerland of all places. But there were a lot of American tourists at this particular hostel, so it made sense. The next day, we proceeded to take a train to the town of Brienz, and then proceeded to take what's called the Brienzer Rothorn cogwheel train. This is a scenic train ride that I highly recommend if you are visiting the Interlaken area. It's unfortunately not covered by the Eurail pass, but it is discounted if you have what's called the Swiss half fare card. Tyler and I had both the Eurail pass and the Swiss half fare card, and we found that we used both quite frequently in Switzerland. But I'm gonna make a future video talking about our experience with our Eurail pass over the course of our 9-week trip, so be sure to keep an eye out for that in the future. Like I said, this train ride was really phenomenal. You had amazing views and you had the opportunity to open the windows so they weren't obscured by window glare. The train also moves quite slowly through the twists and turns, so you have ample opportunity to take amazing photos and videos. Once we reached the top, we did a mountain ridge hike from Rothorn to Turin. It took about 3 to 4 hours to complete, and it's definitely up there as one of the most beautiful hikes that Tyler and I have ever done. Tyler got some great photos as well, so if you're interested in looking at those, I'm gonna post a link to our blog post where you can take a look at them. We finished our hike at the Turin Mountaintop Gondola Station, which you can take down into the valley to the town of Turin. Just a note though, they don't accept credit card and are cash only, which is not very common in our experience in Switzerland, but it is the case here. Also, it's not as frequented by tourists, I don't think, as we were the only ones there, and the operator who was there only spoke German. We were a little worried because we only had euros in cash and we weren't sure how we would be able to pay him, but it ended up that through gestures and other nonverbal communication, we were able to figure things out, and he did accept our euros and we were able to take the cable car down to Turin. When we got down to Turin, we could have taken the train back to Interlaken, but we decided to take a different route with some different scenery by taking the train to Brienz instead, and then from Brienz taking a boat along Lake Brienz to Interlaken. It was a really lovely ride and it was included on our Eurail pass, so there's really no reason why we wouldn't have gone ahead and done this. It was really nice to just sit on the boat and enjoy the scenery passing by after our long hike. The weather could not be beat either. Alright everyone, that is it for today's episode. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for our next video, which will feature part 2 of our Interlaken experience, focusing on our time in the areas of Kandersteg and Grindelwald. See you then, bye!